What is the importance of female friendships in our lives? Well, as someone in her mid-30s, it's taken me a while to figure this out. But today, I like to proudly share with anyone and everyone who listen that some of my female friends have been the greatest loves of my life. Don't get me wrong, I have some awesome male friends too. But my girlfriends, they understand me at a level that even most of my family members can't. It is the bond of just being women, of reminding each other that we aren't here to pull each other down, but to stand tall and be fierce, and to cheer each other on as we break every tiny glass ceiling, one ceiling at a time. Tell me if you agree or not, but our friends are our chosen family. And in that family, my girls take the highest spot. Hi guys, I'm Janice Sequeira and this is The Healing Circle by Koto, a holistic wellness platform that focuses on real stories and real solutions with mental health experts and other holistic healers available at your fingertips. My guests today are three gorgeous ladies. Malvika Sitlani, content creator, YouTuber, young mommy to the adorable Abby, and someone whose story of finding herself and her tribe has inspired me. Veronica Bahl, Malvika's BFF, work partner, matcha queen, and a budding entrepreneur. And finally, Aparna Acharekar, co-founder of Koto and a leader who has always tried to create wellness and safe spaces for women at different stages in her illustrious career. Ladies, welcome. What is the importance of female friendships in each of your lives?
Cool.
Mal, do you want to go ahead first?
Yeah. Female friendships. I've always been an advocate for female friendships, just like you. And I feel like a lot of the women in my life are stronger women that come from a very difficult background. And I feel like I've just, you can say, attracted those kind of women into my life. And they all have a story to tell, which makes it even more beautiful because I feel like we all need to have that one emotion that we bond with.
Yeah.
Whether it's broken families, whether it's, single parent, whatever it is, I feel like we have formed such a beautiful connection growing up. So for me, female friendships have only become more important as I've gone into my late 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Earlier, obviously, it's all about, the boys and we want this and that. But then when I grew up, I realized, oh my God, I need my girls. And it's always the girls, right, that we need. And even when we've spoken, we've grown close very quickly, actually.
Yeah.
It was literally like an overnight thing.
Yeah, and we had this very interesting conversation because I feel like, and I think both of us are the same, we tend to attract a certain kind of person and we instantly hit it off.
Yeah.
And then we overshare
A lot.
a lot. But I think it's a good thing because I feel like, I don't know why, I feel like women are sometimes so guarded of each other, right? Yeah. Veronica, what has been like the role that women have played in your life?
I think female friendships specifically have just been like my extended family ever since I was in school. Like I always turn to my friendships way more than I turn to family in times of like difficulties because I was having a lot of trouble at home. I come from a troubled childhood, a broken family, and so friendships very easily became like an extended support system that I always leaned on. And my mom always used to say, you always choose your friends first. And I honestly think I have no regrets because it led me to like this friendship. It led me to so many amazing, beautiful female friendships. And I literally think like friends are my family. Like I go to them for everything, like financial trouble, emotional trouble, therapy, the good times, the bad times. It's always been like my girlfriends first. So like literally like family.
One of the things I said in my intros is that I'm in my mid-30s and it has taken me all this time to understand that actually my female friendships are the greatest loves of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I will have a better love story than the ones I have with some of my girlfriends.
Yeah.
Aparna, as someone who has founded communities and safe spaces for women online, what has been the role that women have played in yours?
When Koto happened, right, one of the first things I realized was my lived experiences or what I know of the world or what I know of womanhood is only limited. And I'm here through this platform to learn and give many more women opportunities to just be themselves. Friends teach you to be yourself, right? Your guards are down when you're with your friends, right? You're really not worried about your bad hair day, right? Something stuck in your teeth or just any possible thing, right? You can be with friends and you can say, hey girls, I need to go blow my nose and nobody's going to judge you.
That was at the beginning of the episode.
We're just going to say, girl, go, please be comfortable, right? We're not going to judge you for having a bad throat day. So it's not just these little things, it's so many different things that make female friendships special, and mine have always been special because they've all loved me unconditionally and I have tried to do the same.
Yeah. How did this happen?
You want to take it? Or should I?
She emailed me. I can start by just saying that I was looking for a brand manager or someone to just assist me. I was very new in the industry and I wanted someone really strong, someone who knew the game, because I clearly didn't. I was just doing what I could.
How far back is this?
Oh my God.
2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Okay. Not that far off, yeah. 5 years ago.
5 years ago. And it feels like an eternity of friendship though. But she shot me an email, and that's the first email we tended to. And I'm just like, okay, fine, let's go. You know, it felt like that. I didn't even screen a lot of people. The way she wrote her email was so beautiful, so professional. I was like, man, she knows stuff. You know, let me meet her. And then I met her at, you know, this coffee place, and then we were hanging out. And it just began. I don't know, it was a blur for me after that, because I just gave my everything to her from then, because I trusted, just like you, I'm very like open with my life and my work, and so I just gave it all to her and I trusted that she could take care of it. Yeah, and so she
It's
did.
a very similar story to, by the way, how I met my producer who's recording this. She also shot me an email straight out of college, and it was just the way she wrote it. And I was like, yeah, you know, I mean, sometimes you're just going by instinct. Like, I feel like, and this is what happens when you're open, right? When you're allowing people to come into your life and you're open, it's just like something about the energy of even this email sounds right.
Yeah.
I get.
But Veronica, so you decided to email her, why?
I was actually just coming off my previous role. I was interning somewhere and I was really hoping for a promotion and I did not get it. Okay, so this is me moping, finding comfort in beauty videos on YouTube, which was like something I always did. I'm one of those stole my mother's lipstick, fell in love with makeup, one of those daughters. And so I'm just sitting and watching it. Malvika has released the video of how to get the J-Lo bronze look. Okay, I remember it very vividly. And I was sitting literally crying in my bed and I'm like, it would be really cool if I could get to work in makeup, you know, and I really did not think much of it when I sent that email. And I would like to say I sent that email in an era without ChatGPT, okay? So the fact that it was a well-written email, I deserve a lot of credit. That's true. But yeah, and I literally sent a random email at 6:30 p.m. on May 9th, I believe, in 2019. I'm freaky like that with my memory, but I literally said that. Yeah, I do. And I was just like, hey, if you're looking for an intern, let me know. I would just to help out. I was 19, fresh off of, never done anything like this before. I did not want to be her manager in the first get-go. She responded to me within 2 hours and she's like, you know, please come meet me. And then she's like, why don't you just become my manager?
And she's like, I don't know anything.
I taught myself everything on the job and she gave me the freedom to do that, which was like golden at a time of 19. You know, you can either like be stuck in that corporate rut where you're like, okay, climbing slowly, you can get someone to be like, I'll bet on you. And she bet on me at the time. And I've been there through like some of her major life moments. I think that's what actually made us best friends. Like starting a company together, going through the downfalls.
This is basic beauty, right?
Going through those downfalls and even all the celebrations together, hitting our first 500K on YouTube together. Her pregnancy, her marriage, all of my issues with my father, my mother, growing up, 20 to 25, relationships. Like we've had a lot of shared emotions together, which really like strengthened that friendship. I think we were okay, but I think these particular moments really defined like, okay, are we going to be in each other's life forever or are we going to drift apart? And every moment just brought us closer. And now it's like hail, storm, whatever comes, I'm like, now this is not, she's not going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere. And I think
like
we both know that,
When did you realize it was like a family bond? I mean, I feel like there are instances that happen or moments that sort of, you know, stick in your mind where you're like, okay, this person has progressed from being a friend, someone I like, someone I'm close to now they're like family.
I think I remember when Masick started, like all of us were very new starting a brand, Miles as much as me, but I was also way younger. At least she had that experience of being a creator for the last like 5-6 years back then, where she's like, okay, I know where I need to take my rhythm of like building a product or marketing. I was still like super raw. I was 21 at the time and we're thinking of like operations and warehouses and taking financial decisions together. And I don't think if I had a traditional boss or somebody I was working with would bet on a 19-year-old with no experience like that. And there were these key moments where I really messed up my numbers, Janice. I was like, I really don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm doing. And we used to have these like post-dinner sit-downs, like both of us and even Akhil at the time. And they would just sit me down and just give me the grace and the space to learn. They're like, come, we'll teach you. You know, maybe do it this way, maybe do it that way. And they literally taught me like a father would sit down and teach you maths. Like they've taught me numbers and marketing and how to be and how to speak to somebody like that. Like she's taking care of the smallest thing. Like maybe try a blazer on, maybe get your nails done. The small older sister
I was like,
grooming things. Like
I love that.
Literally like gaps that like a mom, a dad, a sister fills. She was filling those gaps for me, like counseling me through my relationship, being like, okay, asking me questions that I don't think anybody else would ask, you know.
Yeah.
And I think in those moments, I'm like, dude, she's really family. Like I can literally call her and be like, hello, like I really don't know what to do in this situation. And she'd be like, okay, come sit, let's talk and let's sort it out, which is golden.
What was your like moment of like, okay, she's family?
You know what? I just love, like, whenever someone either joins my team or comes even close to me, I just like swoop them in fast. Like, I don't know what I have, okay, this thing about just, I always tell her wanting to save in a sense, like I just want, I told you the same thing. I want to help people get rid of their problems as fast as possible. I don't know why it makes me feel like I want to protect her. So I felt very protective about her when she came into my team. And I wanted to just like engulf her with all my love and be like, okay, you don't have this, let me be that for you. You don't have this, let me be this for you. You know, money-wise or anything. I wanted to fill that gap so badly. I don't know what it was. Maybe like a maternal instinct towards her. The protection, the loyalty that she had towards me, it was like the same I had towards her. Fiercely loyal. Like I am fiercely loyal. That is one of my most amazing qualities, I can say. And it won't even like, I won't even waver, you know. So I take it to the end. So I was like, I'm going to make sure that, you know, wherever she wants to grow, I'm going to take her there as best as I possibly can in my capacity. And so I started doing that. And you know what? She has this quality, okay? It's the ability to be there for you at any moment. Like people say that I'll be there for you very casually, but and you take that, you know, okay, yeah, she'll be there. But dude, when she says it, she means it. Like when you say the action aligns, every single time I was in like shambles, my first pick or thought would be Veronica instantly, right? Yeah. Because she would leave everything and reach my house or send me something physical. Her physical presence meant everything to me. And then I was like, dude, if she can be there for me to that extent when nobody could, you know, even extended families don't come to you.
Yeah.
No, you know it, they don't. And she did. And I was like, dude, she's a keeper. Like, she's someone who's going to be there with me, holding my hand through it all. And she did. Through my pregnancy, through my separation, through my divorce. Like, she was there. I can't remember a moment where Veronica wasn't there. And I'm just like, that is a bit much in the best way possible.
Permanent plus one.
Permanent plus one. And Janice, that is so amazing to know. Yeah. Like, you can just fall freely. And I know that we will catch me. And I feel the same thing about her. And that family sort of feeling is just so precious. I was like, I can't let anything happen to this. And so that protection as like an older sort of sibling come towards her like a lot, And so, I think that's why that family bond, you know.
No, there are two really interesting things you said, right? One is that words and actions aligning. It's something I live my life by now. Yeah. Like, you know, if you, because words are sometimes cheap, words are easy, right? It's easy to say, I'll be there for you. Yeah. It'll be easy to say like, oh yeah, we should do, because like if you live in Bombay, it's like, yeah, we should totally do coffee. But do you really ever do that coffee? No. But then the people that you probably should keep in your life are like the ones you casually mentioned to. Like the first time I met Malvika, I think or second time I said, I love Mangalore buns. And within 2 days, she's like, my mom is making it, send me your home address. And these are things that matter to me more than other shit.
Yeah.
So that is one, but I also want to tell you, and Aparna, maybe you can throw light on this more. I feel like the great thing that happened for you is that your first sort of big job, big role was to work in an environment that gave you a lot of love and support. Because I've been on the corporate end of things, and Aparna, you have too. And oh my God, the toxic spaces that we encounter there, especially sometimes when it's coming from other women, it's like, what is happening, right?
In fact, female friendships should actually be extended to not just, you know, friends like you all, but friendships that we make at our workplace, right?
100%.
And they so much define who you end up being and what your career ladder is. And women in leadership positions, right? they need to be best friends to their colleagues, to their subordinates, in fact to all the women in the organization, because they kind of they decide for the organization where the women of the organization will go. They decide for them, they lead that path for them to make a place for them in the boardroom.
Yeah.
They make a path for them to take, where you help the management take decisions like, okay, does my organization need a daycare to support women better? Do we need period leaves, right? Which we should all
Talk
have,
about
right?
or have,
We
yes.
should all talk about and have, but it needs a woman in that room. It needs a woman in the leadership position to bring these topics to the table, right?
You know, but unfortunately, so much of the world, I mean, whether it's at work or whether it's maybe in the creator economy or even in just all our spaces, I think somewhere there is that conditioning that women are meant to compete with each other.
Yes.
Or women are each other's worst enemies.
Yeah.
औरत ही औरत की
औरत ही
दुश्मन.
औरत की दुश्मन है. And I'm like, how do we take that notion and maybe like, I don't know, just like disrupt that pattern a little bit where it's like, you know what, it's cool to be a girl's girl.
Man.
You can start off with if you've had experiences where you've
Yes.
dealt with this
All
whole
the time.
because I feel like sometimes when you accept people into your life very quickly, you also get hurt very quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it really hurts a lot more when it comes from a woman you trusted.
Because I have a voice now and like, you know, a following, and for a long time now, I also have been on the receiving end of immense amount of pulling down and hate and condescension only from women. Unfortunately, in the decade that I've been in this industry, I can say that probably one man has DM'd me and I've missed it. I've missed it also. It has been 99% women that have absolutely wanted to hate on me, pull me down, speak on my marriage, speak on my relationship with Veronica and my work and career and who I am, how I look. Everything has been toned down by women. And every time I read that, my heart breaks a little because I'm just like, am I doing something wrong? Am I saying something? You know, because I always celebrate like women. I'm a girl's girl and they know it. I make it very audible that I'm a girl's girl. Our friendships so many times have been, it's just blasted. And a lot of people do love it.
Why
as
is your
well.
friendship blasted?
No, blasted. I showcase my friendship in a good way. But they sort of have a lot of negative light towards
They
like
have an
she's trying
opinion
to
about it now.
like she's trying to be me, or you know, Mars is taking advantage of you, you're
Yeah,
taking advantage of me. I'm like, oh my god, like you have no idea the love.
Yeah.
You're-
And also, why shouldn't you take
No,
advantage
but
of each
Janice,
other? Why
can I
shouldn't
tell
you platform
I
each
think,
other?
But
I
there's
think women
tainting.
themselves can't register that this is a pure friendship because they've never had it. Like we're so much in dearth of such a true friendship
Yeah.
that you're like, I can't register that this is an honest, authentic friendship. There has to be something wrong.
So they're tainting the purification of this friendship. They're like, no, either they're together or either
Together as in they're painting you in a romantic light.
in the romantic light, or either she's climbing up her social ladder. Why you know, because she's my best friend and working with me, which is the best combination ever.
If it works out,
Because the trust factor is there, but they're like, no, ye to ho hi nahi sakta. Kuch to hai under that either one of them is looking up. I'm like, bro, no, it's pure. It's first. For the very first time, even I've experienced a friendship like this in my life where there is no gossip, there is no hate, there's no backbiting, there's no ulterior motive, and people cannot get behind that. So there's always like an attack, and unfortunately, but we still keep talking about it, and I keep celebrating women in every way that I possibly can. But Janice, it is, if I show you my DMs, and you have seen it, you have in fact texted me, Mars, please don't pay heed to it. When I'm on the receiving end of it, and because I do read DMs because I care about my audience, it is one comment after the other attacking and tearing me down. And I'm just like, the fact that I'm still continuing to do my work means I love my job too much. But unfortunately, it's only been women, Aparna, it's only been women. They hate on my hair, my skin, my body. You're too perfect, you're too imperfect. I'm just like, so nothing is enough. Like, I always have to be according to the version you want me to be. And they want me to say things they want to hear. They don't want my opinion. They don't want to be my real authentic self, which I am so, like, I am me off and on camera. You guys would know this now. But they cannot hear it. They're like, no, हमें बस वो मालविका चाहिए जो 2016 में थी. You said that in 2016. Why are you changing your statement? I'm like, because I'm allowed to grow.
2024.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm allowed
8 years later, you're a different person.
But they can't register it, Jan, and it's so sad when I always see women, and there's a thread of women abusing women.
Within the threads. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a research that actually suggests that competition or jealousy among women is 1,000 times more likely
Yeah.
to corrode a friendship than a man. And what does that say to us about our conditioning, right?
Yeah, it's an important point you mentioned, because I was like thinking back, and I feel like our parents, in an attempt to just protect their child, sometimes just tell you that, okay, like if this person is not responding to a certain way, like go back, usne aise nahi kiya, so you also don't go out of your way to be nice. Like I can go back and be like, just out of, I think, a mom's pure intent to protect your child, you're like, don't give too much of yourself, don't be too kind, you don't know how bad the world is. And I chose to be kind despite all of it, and I've had a lot of bad friendships just because of like purity of heart and just being like, I'll give everything to this friendship. You want a house, come stay over. You want help with money, I'll give it to you. You want friendship, I'll be there for you all the time. And it's cost me. My mom is like, they have walked all over you, and she's seen them walking, and she's like, this is why I tell you, don't be too kind. But being kind despite it led me here.
Absolutely.
And being kind despite it led me here. And so I'm just like, for that 1 or 2 chances in that odd, maybe I'll still choose to be kind instead.
100%, because kindness, I don't think, is only, like, I mean, how a certain person receives you in their life is a reflection of them.
Absolutely.
It's
And they
not,
need-
we all sound like, by the way, we sound like these Instagram memes right now, right?
yeah.
I just want to tell
Quotes
you guys.
after quotes.
Quote after quote,
Be
because this is
kind.
not true.
But life experiences teach you that, right? And you realize that those who are trolling you the most or sending you the most hatred need healing themselves.
Yeah.
You don't need to heal from what they have said to you.
Yeah.
They need to heal because it's their life experiences, it's how people have treated them, have made them so bitter.
Or how other women have treated
Other
them.
women. See, the whole औरत ही औरत की दुश्मन है starts with possibly sometimes a mother stopping a daughter from going and pursuing something, right?
Yes.
I wanted to do this, but my mom said, no, you can't relocate from the city. You still have to be at home, or you still have to be back before 8 o'clock, right? It's maybe the grandmother who said that, what is the need कि इसको इतना ज़्यादा पढ़ाओ या फिर इसको ये
इसके
करने
पर
दो।
निकल आए हैं।
इसके पर निकल आए हैं, right? And it doesn't have to be women from outside, it's mostly women from your home. And all of us who've got opportunities or who are here today have got these opportunities because the women stood behind us, right? Our family, our friends stood behind us. They were the ones who actually gave us the support. But those who don't get that, where do they go, right? Where does all that frustration get vent out? It then happens on such anonymous forums, right?
Because of course now everyone and everything is up for the taking. You are anonymous.
Absolutely.
Your account, you don't even have a picture on it 80% of that. But because you said it happens so much within the family, this kind of conditioning, I also feel like I came from a family which was relatively, I would say, broad-minded, where there was also the extreme broad-mindedness, but also layers of little bit of leftover conditioning, right? So I feel like now one of my roles with my mom and grandmom, who I'm exceptionally close to, and we'll talk about also how they have played a role in our life as friends, is also to go back and talk to them about that conditioning. Like to go back and to say, I call my grandmom Nappy. I'll be like, Nappy, no, see, that is how you probably thought in the 50s, 60s. But please think about it today. Like, why do I need a partner? It's because they have to come in with certain things, not just because society expects it. So this role, and I feel like that has also led to a very unique kind of friendship now with my grandmother and my mother. And I say it's a friendship because earlier it was literally that authority figure in my life. But now we have these very open conversations. So I don't know, maybe that is also something we need to talk about. Like go back and have those conversations once you've had a few more life experiences. So there's a Harvard study that says that not having female friendships is more injurious to a woman's health than smoking cigarettes.
Interesting.
And so sometimes like that for me felt like, wow, what would my life be like if I didn't have like really hardcore female friends in my life? Because I know women who pride themselves on saying stuff like, yeah, I have more guy friends in my life.
Yeah, I was just thinking about
Or
that.
I get along with guys better. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, have you stopped and thought about why that is? Or why that might be a slightly problematic statement in today's day and age?
You're so right. I feel like we need to go back. You said it starts from the house, and it's so important to even understand that people, now that when I'm thinking about all these people who tear us down, of course, hurt people. We know that.
Yes.
And they might have not experienced any of it.
Absolutely.
Like any of this like lifting or even transformation of like the mother-daughter relationship that must not have happened only abhi tak. So they're still stuck. So many people write to me saying that Maz, I have nobody in my life. Not even my mother supports me, so not even my sister hates me, we fight, I'm all alone, I don't know who to go to, my best friend has slept with my boyfriend, my best friend has betrayed me. So it's a lot of betrayal of female friendships when I'm reading my DMs or my emails and stuff. And they are absolutely heartbroken and don't know where to start. They're like, Maz, where can I go to look for a pure friendship like your and we? So some people come from a very like pure heart and they come from a genuine place of like wanting to find that friendship. But in today's time, I feel like there's so many filters and so many guards we put up. Firstly, like what does she want from me? I don't know if I should allow her into my life basis the way she looks and where she comes from. So it like tears down a lot of people and puts them in their shell, thinking that we're unapproachable or we cannot come to another woman because they'll steal my man. And I'm just like, this is please. I feel like, and you know what, a lot that I read, I totally, I'm just like, I cannot believe this is happening because I watched this in movies and it happens, guys.
The stealing your man thing really gets me.
Still, she's stolen my man and now my heart is broken. Now, should I still stay with my man? I'm just like, I don't even know what to say right now.
But you know, I'm not judging because I do know.
But I'm not judging.
I'm saying like I also feel really bad because I feel like I do know such women who it has happened to.
I know, and that's what I'm like, how do we like, where from?
And so much gratitude for the fact that none of my girls did this to me because I don't know what I would do. Like I wouldn't care about losing that man so much. I would care about losing the girl.
This. That purity, imagine that heartbreak that she goes through and then she's like, I can never trust again. No. And then it shatters everything and then they hate on women.
But I feel like maybe that's another role that possibly someone like you could with a platform could take, right? Like that just because you've been betrayed once, just like, you know, how you keep getting your heart broken, but you still decide you need to kind of go on dates.
Yes.
Please give women the same opportunity.
There's so many out there who are just amazing women.
Yeah.
There are, genuine.
But I've actively seen my mum like just say I'm not going to make any more female friends anymore because I'm just too kind to everybody and everybody walks all over me, and I've actively seen
and she's
like
alone now.
And she's alone now, and I feel so bad because she used to have this best friend and it really just fell apart for like unfortunate reasons. And she was like her best, she was like her Malvika, she used to do everything with this person. I used to love watching that friendship, and I don't know, she tried again and again, but like I think it's even more difficult for older women to be friends. I'll be honest, I've seen that, like, you know, like
too many life experiences, you know, and then you're always judging people, right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
and then
so
there's
much
families
conditioning
involved, and
to
you're
unpack.
thinking of the children.
You know, interestingly, which is where the genesis of Koto came, right? It's all about female friendships.
I want to say something about Koto. I think one of the main reasons I agreed to do this show is also because a lot of the ethos of what this platform stands for, which is like free therapy, personal confidential calls, 24/7 access, creating safe spaces for women. Now men are also invited in, but primarily for women, safe communities and networks. These are things that I absolutely, as any kind of person on the internet, want to leave behind, and the little legacy I leave behind.
All of those girls who you're talking about, right, who don't have a place where they can go and share, Koto's become a place for many girls like that, right? From all across the country. Coming to talk to our counselors, our relationship experts, our dating coaches, our love coaches, our astrologers, our tarot card readers. And what are they really coming for? Because they want a safe, free space, a non-judgmental space, right? Just yesterday we had a young girl come and talk to one of our therapists for 3 hours, right? And what was she really doing? Do you really think it was one-way therapy? The girl just wanted a place where she could come and speak, where she could come and share what was going through her life. Women want an outlet. In the afternoons, it's the housewives. Later in the night, it's the younger girls, right? When the demons of depression set in, when you're anxious, you need somebody to talk to, and that's exactly what our experts are doing on the other side.
But can I tell you the opposite side of this? So like you're saying afternoon where the demons set in, right? So earlier, television programming, especially at the height of Saas Bahu programming, what do you think used to happen in the afternoons on TVs? On our TV screens? We used to have reruns of all the Saas Bahu shows happening in the afternoon. And most housewives, like this, there was a survey done, most housewives would actually tune in and be watching it in the afternoons because that's when they could watch it at peace, right? Husband nahi hai ghar pe,
School
bacche
hai.
school mein hai,
Bilkul.
baki sa. And imagine what they were watching. They were watching, one woman is portrayed as the vamp, one woman is
Yes.
portrayed as a bichari bahu.
Yes, yes.
There is one sass who is horrible.
Always.
All the kitchen politics, right?
All the men are toxic.
TV serials in general, I think, highlighted
All-
a lot of the
yeah.
daughter-in-law, mother-in-law
Always
against each other. And
Yeah.
that's what we've come to know. And that's why we grew up watching that and we're like, oh, so we're supposed to not have a good... But that is not true.
No, I'm saying the irony was that the writers and Ekta Kapoor at that time might have been writing it from the POV of this is what's really happening in Indian families. What they didn't realize is that they were also creating an
Validating
entire
it, I guess.
subculture of validating those women. Saying that, हाँ, तुम्हारी
सही
family में
है।
होगी ऐसी मामी जो एक vamp है.
हाँ, तो believe कर लो, मतलब don't go and reconcile with that
You know,
mommy.
I'll add a perspective to this. Even today, young girls, right, newly married girls come and talk about things like, I've gotten married into a toxic family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a mother-in-law who supports my dreams.
Yeah.
My husband only listens to his family and doesn't want to
So many,
speak to me.
so
And it's the truth even today,
yeah,
right?
so
One would
many.
have thought it was the story of the 90s, portrayed on television, but it still happens today.
Yeah.
Women are at this cusp, right? Like where we are now beginning to understand how important it is to have our bonds and to fix our generational trauma. We are figuring this out faster because in my humble opinion, and you can come at me for saying this, I think women are smarter. We get it faster.
Yeah.
Emotionally,
I can't wait for that generation where men finally get in touch with their feelings because oh my
Face it,
god.
Yeah, they need to...
Yeah.
Because I mean, at this point in my life, like I feel like, just sitting here with the three of you and we have cameras rolling, we have an entire crew of people watching us. And even then we are able to unpack and be vulnerable and be honest.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I've had that experience even with my closest guy friends.
Yeah, they're very
Because at some
guarded.
point they're going to be like, chal na, rona band kar.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a man in your life who you've been maybe be able to be as vulnerable as you are with the girls?
I have a controversial opinion on that. I don't think a guy and girl can be best friends.
Yeah.
I don't. I think one person will
Always
always
fall
end
for
up
the other.
having feelings for the other person at some duration of that friendship. I'm not saying you act on it.
Life has taught me that
Ha,
in multiple ways.
They can't.
Where inevitably a guy friend has turned around at one point and said, "Ha, crush to tha."
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Feelings
My
to thi.
life,
So
yeah.
True.
Half the point which is missing in our men relationships was just the point of empathy and being understood in its entirety. And I feel like that's where I need my girls. That the line comes really quickly. I need my girl.
Yeah.
I need my girl.
Yeah.
And you feel, don't you feel like a sigh of relief when you finish that conversation with the girl, with your bestie? You're
Life
like,
has purpose again.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I see it from a different perspective, which is again a female perspective,
Yeah.
which you really need in life. And a lot of, you can also agree to disagree with your female friends comfortably. I feel like you can come to a point where you're just like, yeah, but I don't think so, but it's okay, but I get you. I get what you're saying.
absolutely.
But dude, no, it's not like that all around. They'd be like, no, why don't you think it's my way?
Like we are saying with men.
With men, generally, they try to bring on a stronger perspective from their side and be like, but if you lived my life, you wouldn't know how tough it is to be a man. If you live, it's always going to be that way. I feel like with women, they're like, I don't agree with you, but I still get you. The empathy layer is there.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. Yeah, I think it's a lifelong love relationship that you said.
I think one of the things I've promised myself is that if I ever get into another relationship with a man again, is that I'm not going to suddenly demote my girlfriends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I feel like at this point I've realized men might be able to come and go. Girls are not coming and going.
And you know why women have better friendships and why female friendships are better? Women have what is called tendency of tend and befriend, right? You must have heard of fight and flight, right?
Yeah.
That's the response to stress. That's the response to danger. Women have, as part of evolution, evolved what is now tend and befriend. In a stressful situation, a woman will try to tend to the wound and befriend the person who is going through the stressful situation, and that is what really causes friendships to be better, friendships to be formed, nurtured and stayed over a period of time.
I love this. Tend
I
and
love
befriend.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's
new
from a
bio.
Forbes article written by a psychologist.
New bio.
Right?
I just got that.
I think
Yeah,
every
it's
time
beautiful.
a hater gets like, you should learn how to tend and be friends.
Yes.
One of the things I did want to talk about, like Oprah speaks about this a lot, letting people into your life who might have the slightest amount of jealousy or envy about where you are. Have you guys experienced it?
I think this happens a lot when you're like younger, at least for me. Like it happened a lot in my college years. So like when I'm like 18 to like 21, and that time it's even more difficult for us to be self-aware about our feelings.
Yeah.
And I think that was the point where, firstly, when you have like self-esteem issues, like realizing that somebody might be jealous of you already is like a task, okay? So like someone trying to tell me, I'm like, no, why me, you know? And I'm like, no, but there could be. You see instances, you sit down, you notice those small cracks in a friendship when they've passed a comment that, you know, on your career or on your new friends or a new celebration. And I started noticing those cracks. You know, I was like freshly into this new job, and you really take note of who is on your side in those moments of celebration when it's just you, like you're growing and you're changing. And I had to very silently, tactfully, like take a step back on a lot of friendships, and I was like very confused. I'm like, I don't know how to do this in a way because people pleaser, self-esteem issues, and somebody's like trying to like be jealous of you, or like they're just not happy about your success.
Yeah.
But I think having a good friendship as a benchmark at that time really helped, because I'm like, okay, am I getting that same emotion in this friendship? And the answer was no, because there were a lot of individual wins for us in this friendship as well, and she dealt with it very differently. So I'm like, okay, so then this is an option. Like this kind of a friend is also an option. So then I cannot settle for that friendship. I was very afraid that I'll be left with no friends if I keep like withdrawing from people like this on the smallest of cracks. But I'm like, you know, why not? Like, I'm like, I have her, and she's like, she's the benchmark now, you know. And we say this a lot even as girlfriends, that who can love, which man can love me the way my girlfriends love me.
That bar is too high.
Bar cannot be seen.
Yeah.
So
That bar has come, it is right up there.
Yeah.
Man is still figuring out, oh, okay.
yeah, I am not afraid to say that I don't think you should settle for a friendship where you even see the slightest bit of jealousy or the slightest bit of insecurity or that one comment. I'm like, don't settle for that friend.
Just leave it like where it's at and
Yeah.
gracefully. I think to back out gracefully is amazing, which it took a long time for her also to like unravel and unpack all of it, because those friends have been there for so long.
Childhood.
And childhood. And it was like slowly starting to emerge, right? Like to purge out. And she was just like, I'm not understanding, what should I do? And I'm like, see how you feel. And anytime she was in those situations, she felt like smaller and she felt like away from those friends, which was not a good feeling, you know. And then so withdrawing is only the best option, even if I know you feel like it's going to leave you lonely. I feel like you will find another clique, or you will find another set of friends who actually want what's best for you. They have to be cheerleaders, they have to lift you up, whether it's relationship or anything. So I feel like it's super important to tap out of those friendships, and so many people don't, of the fear of being alone.
Yeah.
But I also think, I mean, and just to give you, maybe play devil's advocate on this, is that I feel like sometimes you have to also understand that your conditioning has to pass a little bit. And in that moment, for example, okay, let's go into specificities, right? Like, I mean, so I've been in front of the camera now a large part of my life, whether it was on news TV, news television, or now on the internet, right? And I feel like there were a few friends at that point who were like, oh, now you're on TV, now so you've changed. And that was conditioning. Like they also needed to grow up, and I also needed to grow up to accept and understand that that was a passing moment. And it'll happen even today. Like, my gut will be like, okay, I don't want to tell this friend about this success or this show getting renewed just immediately. And it's only because in that moment, I'm also like, I know that they're struggling with something, and I don't know if my coming in, here's my great news, is going to help.
Absolutely.
So I'm not saying, I'm saying that there can be space for both.
Okay.
That's my little 2 cents on it. Am I making sense?
I completely agree, and I was going to add to what both of them were sharing. Jealousy is also an emotion.
Correct.
Right? And pretty much like all other emotions that we acknowledge, we should acknowledge that too, right?
Yeah.
You could be jealous of your little sister. Sometimes you could just be jealous of your baby also, just because the baby is sleeping so peacefully and you're not able to sleep well.
I'm
at
jealous
night.
of my cats 24/7.
Absolutely, right? Because they lead a better life than
100%.
Absolutely. So, jealousy is only an emotion. And it comes from the very reason that the person who may be feeling jealous does not have at that point in time what you have then. Maybe situations change, maybe life changes, right? But I would pardon a person who would be jealous of me than live with that anger or thought that, oh, she said this because she's jealous.
No, definitely not anger.
Right?
Definitely not anger.
Leave it absolutely at that.
There are instances like that with
I was
us.
saying that, yeah.
Yeah, where
Tell me.
Yeah, but we confront it. You know, we don't like speak the way we're supposed to speak. So there are moments in my like postpartum journey where I could not go out anywhere and I was stuck at home and I was just feeling so lonely. But obviously she's young, she has a life and she has other friends and she goes out. There are moments and I tell her, I'm like, I'm sorry I could not be happy for you when you were going through these events and you were having a good time. I'm sorry I could not respond and be happy for you. I'm not in the place. I need some time and I will come back. And then I give it a day or two. We give each other a day or two because I genuinely cannot look at the bright side of things when I'm in a very dark, lonely place in my home alone with my daughter. Sometimes I can't see it. And when I see people like just like her, I'm like, why isn't she with me? Why is she like going out and having fun and I'm at home crying? But I'm like, no, Mars, this is not the right emotion. She has a life. She's her own individual person. And then I tell her, I'm like, I'm sorry, V, I could not be happy for you. And that I think is so much more beautiful than just passing a snarky comment and just being okay with that. That is so hurtful in hindsight. So yeah, I don't think, I think it's easy for me to let go of relationships quickly.
Is it?
Yeah.
Very.
It's very easy for me to let go
I'm
of
shocked
relationships.
I'm there, babe, for the last 6 years. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I won't like go to the extent to fight for something that's been, it really depends on the intensity of it. I really am quick to guard myself very fast, you know, in the sense of protection of myself and not wanting to get so badly broken again from past stuff that has happened, that I'm okay letting go quickly first and then seeing how I get over it. But having done all of that so far, it's only been in the right intuition. I've sensed the right things and I've let go in the right way, luckily. But the things I do want to protect is this. And that's why I confront it now. I speak and I say, look, this is the feeling I'm feeling, which is not okay. And so I think talking about it with your girl is so much more healthier than going and backbiting or saying it.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That feels like the betrayal.
I think
That is a
more
betrayal.
than backbiting, I don't think people like to admit that they're wrong or they felt a moment of weakness or jealousy. So like, because I've had friends outside of this friendship that were closer and I have to let go of these friendships, I think none of them were in a position or in a mental space only to admit that, hey, maybe this is not coming from a good place. Like they feel very validated in their actions that I'm like, this is just going to be a repetitive pattern of me trying to tell you that what you said was probably not okay and I felt hurt by it and you're my best friend and you're not supposed to speak to me like this. So I'm like, I might as well let go.
I feel like the pattern sensing is so important, and I think a lot of girls don't do it out of not wanting to be alone. I think I'll take this also. We take scraps of all of our female friendships who have betrayed us, walked over us, who've cheated on us with her, but we're like, it's okay, at least I'll stay. At least I have some scraps of her that she's giving me. We just take scraps of people, and again, as women, we're used to compromising in every relationship of our life. So I feel like, why don't you find amazing, good quality women out there? They have value to add to your life, and you also deserve a valuable friendship. And I think that's also okay to recognize. You know, I'd rather be slightly lonely for a bit than be with someone who's constantly adding like that toxicity to the relationship and constantly like making me cry and sulk and feeling low of myself. I think that's not a good emotion to feel from your girlies.
I think in life a general thumb rule is anyone who makes you feel like you need to shrink in that relationship is probably not a good person to have around. I mean, it doesn't. See, today, okay, you know, actually all of us are kind of creators in our own way. Right? The world is dominated by followers, numbers, data, and God forbid you be a public personality and you're out there. Then you have levels of how people are judging you. You're at this level, you're at that level. But forget all of that. How do you treat each other without all of that data? Like, I hate it. One of my biggest tells in life is that, oh, are you treating this person better because they are more successful? And this person more shittily because they have nothing to contribute? I'm like, that is not a person I want in my life, period. Absolutely. As a mom, and as a young mom now, and as having your best friend sit next to you, how did you guys transition you being Mal's, just Mal's, and now Mal's plus baby? And how do friendships overall survive life-changing transitions like marriage, children, divorce, long distance? So first let's get into how did you guys transition from, oh, we can get out for a coffee anytime we want, or go wherever we want,
Yeah.
to now being like, okay, we know you have to think about Abby first.
Firstly, when I told her I was pregnant, she cried and everything, super excited. I think my story is so unique in every sense because
Yeah.
I separated very early on. That's why Veronica was literally like, Veronica and my mom, were literally my fallback so
Your
quickly.
story broke the internet.
Yeah,
babe, I
it
mean.
really did. Yikes. Yeah, I know. So much heartbreak and so much pain during that time because I was so confused also with all the hormones like running through your body.
You don't need to hear it from me. Please go to Malvika's page. There are enough blogs about it because I feel like that is unfair to bring up on this podcast for all of you who are going to ask this in the comment section.
Yeah, what happened to her?
What happened to her? No. You go find out for yourself, not on Reddit.
Subscribe.
Yeah, okay, bus. Then,
Subscribe.
so Jen, my mom, and Veronica were like the only two backbones when it came to like my pregnancy and postpartum. And literally, when I tell you, how you said like, okay, let's go for coffee, etc., etc. She also had a life at that point, right? Of course, I mean, she was in a relationship back then, and she could do whatever. But I felt like, oh my God, she placed me at priority. She's like, whenever Mars wants, whatever, I am there. And that's why I told you that elevated and brought us, my mom also so much closer as she moved into my house. So I think my mom became close. She became close to me so much more. Every hospital visit, was Veronica. Like my mom was there, but my mom could not make it sometimes.
10 on 10 as best friend.
Fully.
20 on 10.
20 on 10. I don't think like even most husbands don't make it to all the appointments, to be very fair. But Veronica was there every even if I had to take a blood test, only a blood test, and I'm afraid of needles, she was like, no, Mars, I'm coming and I will be there no matter what. And she would hold me for like a 10-minute blood test, okay? She came all the way from town. And I'm just like, my gosh, this like, and I saw that unravel in front of my eyes, like the ability to be there. For me, I'm like, this should be everybody's friendship. I don't think anything lesser than this is acceptable because she held my hand through my entire pregnancy. She was in my birthing room. She was like there watching me labor and postpartum care as well because I had a complication with my birth. She nursed me, dude. She like nursed my wound. And for me, that was like, I'm like, are you kidding me? This has no boundaries anymore. We had a nurse come over, but on some days, the nurse was like kind of teaching her, how to do it. And she was there watching me through that entire thing. So we literally had no boundaries to the point where we were genuinely family. She took care of it. She took care of my wound. She was there with me. She sat through my IV drips. And I'm just like, this bond, dude, is unbreakable. So I think like that transition happened so seamlessly and beautifully. It didn't feel like, I was like becoming someone else and she also had another life. She molded her life perfectly into mine and I into hers. And I'm just like, I get it if you ever have to leave. And she's like, absolutely not. Like, you don't have a partner, you don't have anyone. I am going to be that partner for you. And for me, I feel like, and Abby too, it's her over anyone. Like Abby, she comes over and she watches Abby on days I have to leave the house. And when she also has to be present because of that particular event, but she will stay back. She's like, no, Miles, I'll take care of Abby and you go. And I'm just like, who does that? Apne khud ke rishtedar nahi karte, bro. No one has offered to come and watch Abby. And I'm just like, where are y'all now? Like, where is the family now? And I'm just like, y'all come on happy times. But when it really comes down to the nitty-gritties of having to hold my hand when I'm crying, having to watch my baby girl when I cannot do it because I'm tapped out of energy. She's like, I will leave everything and I'll watch. Please go. Sit alone in the room. I'm taking Abby down for a walk. Abby knows her since birth. Like she has seen Abby come out of me and also held Abby and holds Abby till today. So for Abby, she is like known to be mama's forever. Like, so she draws, she's like, draw mama, draw manti. So like matcha auntie. So mama, she's matcha auntie. So mama and matcha auntie are always in one frame in the drawing. Like there is no separation. And for me, that's like so beautiful.
It's so sweet. It's so sweet.
So it's been a beautiful transition.
this is a massive exception to the rule, right? Because I feel like even in the closest of female friendships, what Veronica has possibly done for you.
No, I don't think so.
Because I feel like a lot of people watching
I wish
this.
it wasn't, but I understand that people, like friendships like this come by rare now. I know what you're trying to say.
And I'm just saying that as someone who literally like strongly believes in the fact that, and like I told you guys, that my girlfriends are my greatest love stories, even then, this is beyond. This is beyond even possibly what a husband or a partner would do.
That's
But I also feel like some people watching this will be like, तो अगर ये नहीं मिला मतलब what, my friendship is not worth it, because this is a rare example.
Janice, can I say, like I was saying off camera also, I feel like trauma bonds two people faster than anything else. You can get to people who had like a shared common experience, a similar problem, and that will bond you faster than anything else. And I feel like when she was also going through her entire pregnancy, and that was a really difficult year for both of us personally, like on our personal fronts. I was really having a tough time navigating my family dynamics with my mom and my dad at the time, and also like I have a younger brother. It was a lot, like I was emotionally destroyed that year. And I remember there was a point where I was just going hungry in my house constantly because there's nobody to take care of me. Okay, like I was taking care of everyone, nobody was taking care of me. The usual. And I think Miles and her mom took note of that. And since that day, not once, and I truly mean it, not once till today have they let me go home without food.
Yeah.
Not even once.
So like,
they're like, no, you will not sit down and eat right now. What do you need? Like, what do you need? Come, sleep here, do whatever you want. This is, we casually say to our friends, like, you know, my home is your home. You know, come whenever. I'm telling you, she's specifically bought extra groceries, extra food, and been like, I have made lunch, I'm expecting you to come. Like, it became like that. And I'm telling you, Jen used to say that she's my second daughter, and she truly held up to it. Like, again, like words to actions. And I think Jen, Miles, me, all three of us were going through such like difficult times emotionally, like in 2023, and that all three of us just like were leaning onto each other in all the areas possible. So Jen was like, I can nurture two of my daughters, so I will take care of them food-wise and maternally. I was like, I can be there for her as a friend. I don't have a lot to give, but I have my presence. I can give you that. Like,
that is more than anything else.
I felt like Miles blessed me so much with resources and like giving me that foundation that typically parents give you. But she sort of gave me like the wind beneath my wings, and I'm like, she's given me that, but I'm like, I cannot give that in back, but I can give you my presence. I can give you, this is all I have. You know, it's like, I'll give you my heart, I'll give you my presence. And so, to this day, Malvika is like, have you eaten lunch? Do you need lunch? Come over, we'll have lunch. I'm just like, yes, I'll be there.
And like, despite having so much of emotional baggage that she was going through, the ability, do you know what I'm saying now? She was not like leading a happy life, and then she was like, I'll waltz over and be there for you. No. She was like being torn apart on her side of her family, but she's like, I will still carry your baggage. And I'm just like, that is just immense. Because I'm like, I don't know. And that sharing of like taking the baggage, you know, and always relieving it off is an emotion we cannot put into words. I feel like you have to, like she said, it's a rarity. And if you find this kind of a relationship, it's one to guard for life, because I don't know which, I'm nervous about this because I'm like, I don't know which other man will ever take that place.
She says this when I get her
I'm so nervous
dessert
I'm like,
order right. She's like, which guy will get the dessert order in the right moment right?
No.
नहीं होने वाला. Like, I have this like running joke. So me and my best friend, so she's not as like an oversharer like me, right? She's more like, if something happens in her life, she'll take a little while to process. So she'll go quiet. And I literally tell her that now when you text me, I can tell from how you're texting that your mood, what mood you're in. And I also know that while I am the kind, like if something happens, I'll want to pick up the phone and go, bah. Right? Immediate vomit happens. I want to share, I want to analyze. With her, it's the opposite. She goes into a shell, and then on the third day, she'll be like, okay, this happened, and then it all comes out. So I've like now started finding like ways around it, right? Because I can't change who she is. But I can be like, listen, because we live really close to each other. I'll be like, listen, I'm going for a drive to Carter. We'll go over to, like we have a favorite coffee shop where we go. We'll go have a coffee, and then we go for a walk. Just I feel like going, and I'll make it seem like I want to go for a walk because I want to share. But in my head, I'm almost like, if we go and we're walking, I know you'll share.
That's the beauty of female friendships, right? We don't always need to bond over a vodka or anything. All that you need is just an occasion, or all that you need is just a phone call or a text message, and you'll be there for each other.
Tell me one thing.
Why
can't we live with our best friends? Matlab, forever and ever and ever and ever. I just feel like it's so, I'm always like, wherever I go, I'm like, please come. As my like, you know.
But
Plus
can
one.
I tell you something strange?
What?
My girlfriends and I have discussed this.
my
So
God,
we were having a very random conversation,
do
and
all the
please
time.
tell me if this has happened with you
Same,
guys.
same.
We've had this conversation where we were like, okay, we're at that age where we have a fair amount of liquidity. We've made our money.
Yeah.
Should we all start thinking about whether we need to build a community for us to have a community living experience?
Yes.
And everyone else, husbands plus ones, can join.
Yeah.
Fine, we'll accept you.
Yeah, we'll accept
We'll
you.
take you into that community. But we've actually started having this conversation of when we retire or when we decide ki matlab
Time is
corporate
a-
job, you don't need to hustle
yeah.
every day. Should we figure out a space where we can do it together?
What a life, yeah. Come on.
Like imagine that concept.
It's it's a beautiful concept. Wherever I go, I'm just like, you have to, please. I can't imagine my life without Veronica, because it's just like the crux, like every important moment she's been there. And I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe I will grow up and who knows
Yeah,
where
because
life will
right
take
now
us.
this unconditionality is also what bonds you guys.
Yeah.
And because also,
Yeah.
like you said, your story of how you went through your pregnancy and everything that happened during that time is so unique. It is fantastic. I mean, this is almost like, life has sent you a real angel and said, I will turn up for you.
I'm telling you.
But I know a lot of people who don't have that, and that doesn't make the friendships in our lives any less.
Absolutely.
Because like I feel like again that also changes year on year.
Yeah,
Like I think at the peak of when my separation just happened,
Yeah,
I was having panic attacks I couldn't explain.
right.
And at that point of time, like I think I didn't need my friends to come and give me advice. right?
Yeah.
Because you're not
Last thing you
looking
need.
for advice in that moment.
Yeah.
I'm just like, stay on the phone with me. Last question before I go into FAQs that
Yeah.
go-to readers have asked
Yeah.
is friendship breakup. Female friendship breakup. Are they more trauma-inducing than sometimes like letting go of a man, letting go of a male friendship or anyone else?
I've had a proper official friendship breakup, like with one of my girlfriends from college, and I don't know, maybe it's subjective to how a person deals with these kind of things in general. Like, are you somebody who holds on to things a lot, like problems, happy moments, everything? You're somebody who holds on to things very strongly and takes life seriously, or you're somebody who just lets go? Because I feel like I'm somebody who just lets go. I'm a very, like, I don't get offended very easily. I will let go. I will forget about it the next day kind of a person. So for me, in my head, even if I meet this person today, I will greet her with a hug and very normally, genuinely from my heart, but I'm afraid that she wouldn't. And so for me, like, I don't carry any baggage or trauma from that friendship breakup, because I'm
May
like,
I ask what led to it? I mean, you don't have to obviously go into details.
I think when you're, I always say this, I'm like, relationships and friendships from the age of 20 to 25 you're either going to survive it or you're either going to fall apart, because you are changing so much in those 5 years. It's like a amplified version of growth, like after that I think it slows down as things happen, but like 20 to 25 is like make or break, because you either want to set your life up, you want to see who your partner is, you're finding your friends, you're finding yourself. And I think genuinely it was just like a very passive aggressive version of like, I am no longer able to like be that same person you knew in college. Like, I'm very different, my priorities are different, I cannot give you as much time as you want, I cannot see you as much as you want. And I think some people really guard that time well. Like, you used to be this person, I'm used to a very different Veronica. And to be honest, I wasn't that. I didn't give it my all. My work took priority. This friendship took priority, because I don't know, I just felt more safe. I felt like I belonged in that friendship. And I think it just literally, like, it didn't sit well with her. And one day we just had to, because I promised to take effort and I did not take effort. So I take responsibility there. But it wasn't a priority for me. And in that moment when you're so desperate to just like make something of your life, you don't see the cost at which it's coming. And for me, it came at a hefty cost of losing a lot of friends just because I chose something else. And I'm okay with that. I take responsibility there.
I've seen it with men where they've been able to sort of, do really horrible things to each other,
Yeah.
including hooking up with their partners or, coming down to blows over an argument.
Yeah.
And literally, maybe there's a distance of like a few months. But it'll be like, oh, over one daru session, भाई तो मेरा भाई है, नहीं तो मेरा भाई है, हम कैसे पहुंचे वहाँ पे? Or like one thing, it'll take like one tight hug and they're done with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like women, then that betrayal or that breakup happens, and I feel like you could take that person back into your life depending on how generous you are or where you are in your life, but that hurt is a lot more. I'm going to be honest, I've not had that kind of breakup, but I know one of my closest friends is dealing with that, and it weighs on her every single day. To an extent where if she's going to be watching this, she's going to be like, I know what you're talking about, bitch. But I'm like, I sometimes feel like I'm having to make up for that friend. And being like, it's okay, I'm here still. Oh God. So I don't know, why does this happen? Like, you know, why do female friendships leave so much more of a trauma effect?
Because I guess we take everything to our heart, right? And soul, and we've just given so much in that relationship, right? That you're always expecting something in return from there. Okay, I've done so much, so I expect you to be this. I was there when you needed me. Now when I need you, why are you not there? Right? And therefore breakups can be very difficult, right? And it's similar to a breakup in a man-woman relationship. This is not any different. You've shared those moments together. You've made plans together. You've done so many good things, bad things together. Now suddenly when all of that is going to go away, you can't see yourself without that, right? And that's really why you're taking this so much to heart. You're not taking this, for you this was not a transaction. That okay, I gave something, you gave something, and we're equal. Both of you have given a lot more, but when that's not working out, it's hurting so deep within that you're not able to, you know, really see the right or the wrong in what is happening.
Do we also set up our female friends do we hold them to higher standards than we possibly do to other people?
I would believe so, because you don't expect that from another woman, right? तू तो समझ ही जाती मेरे साथ क्या हो रहा है, right? How can I expect a man to understand that, right? Men will be men, right? But you're a woman, you understand this. So I guess you know, breakup in a female friendship is a lot more difficult.
Yeah, 100%.
In fact, let's get into I feel like the Kotu readers also have a few similar questions. Okay, so early on, when you form a new friendship especially, and at our age group, what is the red flag then that you should watch out for, maybe in not giving away too much of yourself? Anyone, whoever wants to take this.
I think when the conversations are always centered around other people and other things, and if the very basis is gossip and judgment of other people, I think that's like a very initial tell-all that, hey, I think this is not going to be a friendship that I would like.
Or if the conversation is only about you. Me. That is also a red flag for me.
Fair.
Yeah,
Any others?
Always. I guess gossip would be a big red flag for me, right? Because if you're talking to me about someone else, you're talking about me to someone else, right? So I'd rather not get into that sort of a relationship.
The other thing I think we also touched upon, how you treat other people. This is, I feel like it should not be gendered. This should be for everyone.
For everyone.
Like if you treat someone else differently because, oh my God, I need them in my life for such a certain XYZ reasons, versus you don't treat people around you normally.
Yeah, and I think again, all of this experience is coming from my followers only. I feel like a lot of their best girlies have betrayed them with their partners, which is really horrific in my eyes. But you can sense that in the first sort of, like, you have to have that ability to sense character. Like you have to build that muscle. When you're meeting a new girl, you already know what's going on. Like, I'm keeping the man aside because we're talking about female friendships here, and you gauge that kind of like flirting, you gauge that kind of the way they talk. Cut it off at the source. Like, you don't need that in your life anymore. I know the man also has, response, but it hurts when your bestie does it. It hurts when your bestie does it. So I feel like a lot of people have had a lot of deep pain when it comes to their partners or boyfriends, actually. More than husbands, it's boyfriends, sleeping with all of their girlfriends and stuff. And she behaves like this lonely wolf who'll just still continue a relationship with them just because, so that's one of the biggest red flags as well, is when your girlfriend starts to look at your partner in another eye.
I think actually it's just sort of another red flag. It's that if I hear you talking about a really close person in your life badly, I mean, okay, I think that comes back to gossip. Yeah, but if I hear you, like if you say someone's your BFF, oh my God, I love them, or you're telling them I love you online or wherever, just in front of people, but you talk shit behind their back, I'm like,
or you're passing on their darkest secrets, right?
Oh, 100%. If someone tells me something if someone tells me something about someone that I did not need to know, I'm like, bhai, tu dost nahi hai uski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be careful. I'll probably find a way to even maybe tell the person that be a little careful who you're sharing your stuff with. You don't want this becoming public information.
Of course.
The next question that they've asked is, and this is of course based on a lot of online connections also, where we see everyone saying, love you, love you, love you. So the question is being a girl's girl now become somewhat of a fad?
No.
I don't think so.
A fad? What do you mean?
Anyone who can influence positively for the girl gang is a girl's girl, right? Whether it's a female in a leadership position, or whether it's an influencer, right, who has more voice and can be heard by many more people, you're a girl's girl. So I don't think it's a fad. I think girls have always existed, right?
It has.
Every female leader, right? Every female actor who has played a positive role that shows women in a great light as a girl's girl. So it's not a fad. It's,
I think
it's
it's here to
something
stay.
we should always live with, and we should have to take us all forward.
Yeah, I get that. I think the question was more from the perspective of, like, you know, we see so many more people now making reels and videos about Meri Pasandita Aurat and, you know, female friendships greater than. And that's great, because I don't know if you're really truly practicing what you're preaching. That's fine. But I feel like anything that uplifts this message versus Aurat hi Aurat ki dushman hai, I will support it.
Absolutely.
Last question, debatable, but do you think age, cultural background, status and wealth make a difference when it comes to building true friendships? Let me simplify this question. Do you think if two people came from maybe not the same status in life, and vastly different cultural backgrounds, or the age gap was huge, do you think that that could still be a true friendship?
Yes, it could be a true friendship, depending on how they both take it during the entire course of life, because I feel like there are going to be downfalls in everybody's life. One is going to be broke, one is going to do well, and vice versa. And if that sustains together, I feel like then it's a long-lasting relationship for sure, because not everyone's going to be at like a linear state. Not everyone's going to plateau. Like, I think there's going to be ups and downs. So I feel like I said, approaching that sort of like a massive life-altering situation is so essential, because a lot of friendships do fall apart when it comes to status. Like, a lot of friendships do.
Yeah.
Like, you're not on my level now. I have to travel more, but I'm sorry you can't. And that's just how we drift apart, right? And slowly that just, it never survives, man, because of the money problem. Money is a very big factor nobody talks about.
It is a very big factor, because I was just going to tell you that I feel like you could survive different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
You could definitely survive age.
Yeah.
I have, like, I mean, if I'm friends with my mother today, my mom is like a good 27 years older to me. And I have friends who I think are friends who are much younger also.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like age, cultural background, sure. Money also, it depends on if you started off at the same level and maybe then one grew, and
up really.
If they meet, sure. But I feel like the one thing you cannot change is generational wealth.
Yeah.
So I feel like I find it personally very hard to even relate to people with generational wealth, because I feel like my life experiences are so different.
Absolutely. But I was getting to that. I'm like, I don't know if friendships with cultural differences and financial differences would survive the test of time. I think it'll be a very short-term friendship, because you can't relate to that person after a point. What will you talk about? What are your conversations about? Like, the problems look different. And I'm not negating that they don't have problems. I think their problems in general, the nature looks different. They will absolutely not understand, like, some struggles that you're going through, and then you will turn to other friends who will understand it very naturally. So
a very simple example in my case is that I like my house. I think it's like cute, and it's actually quite nice for like a Bombay house, okay? And then I went to another friend's house who I'm very close to, but you know, the generational wealth sort of element kicks in over there. And I'm like, I am going to feel so conscious of this person coming to my house. And that feels, that's a me problem.
Like that.
That's not
even though I feel generally with
that's not a she problem, that's a me problem.
I was just going to say, it's not a her
and
problem.
I take like, she might not even have that thought.
Absolutely
She might
not.
come to my house and be like, bro, I love your house. I can fully fella over here.
That's
But
what I tell her.
it's a barrier in my head.
It is in her head.
A lot of this changing now. In fact, the Gen Z spend a lot more time with their friends online than they do at coffee shops.
Is that a good
Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
That's not the best thing, but the fact remains that their lives have evolved to be that, right? You'll go to a party or sitting at a restaurant, and you're going to find a bunch of young kids all on their phones, and they're all talking to each other there, right? They're not really like with each other in the moment. And this isolation,
You need to get out of the house.
you need to get out of the house, but you're still with each other, but on phone, texting each other, or on any social media platform, you're there together. A platform like Koto, right, is actually allowing you to explore what friendships can be, right? Helps you detangle your head, right? So that when you have some real friends and you have some real life problems, there are people who can guide you, who can help you, right? Who can give you some really good non-judgmental advice, and they can be your best friends too. So things are changing, things are evolving. But yes, I mean, the societal class barriers can't
that
go
shall
in
remain.
real life.
Yeah.
A lot of it gets negated online, because it doesn't matter whether you're sitting in a plush South Mumbai or a South Delhi home, or you're from some tier 2 city in the country.
This has been fantastic. I couldn't have asked for better guests. I hope you guys had a good time sort of unpacking all of this. Do you feel lighter?
Yes.
As usual. Girlies. We're just missing our cups of hot cocoa.
Very
This has
hot
been
in Bombay,
wonderful.
please.
Thank you to all three of you for making the time, and thank you guys for watching. We'll be back with another episode next week. Till then, see you.